Hey everyone, welcome to my Bitcoin video. This is the 13th of March, 2020. It's been a very, very volatile week, and so what I'd like to do is kind of recap what's happened over the last year and a half and figure out where we're going from here. Um, Things are actually not as bad as they may seem. We're probably still going to dip lower again, but I think this is good. This is healthy. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting year. So before I get into this is all just my opinion. I'm not your financial advisor, and you're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. Hello, Mr. Pajit. Good to have you in the video tonight. It's late. It's late for a lot of you in the UK. It's 2, 3 in the morning, so I apologize that I'm doing this late. This video is going to be extremely thorough. This video is going to take a while to explain what is going on here in the market. So bear with me because I'm going to be basically outlining the last year and a half um, virtually from scratch. So if this is new for you, if you are just watching for the first time, this video is perfect for you because I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that have been discussed in prior videos, but taking on a new perspective. If you are part of the insured, you know that I had been waiting for 5,500. The model that I had for Bitcoin had us bottoming out at 5,500. I was not expecting it to happen until July, but nonetheless, it has happened, and we've gone much further. And if it wasn't for BitMEX liquidation engine taking over, we probably would not have gone as deep as we did. We went very, very deep. Um, but that's okay because we did not make a new low. Okay. So the low pivot that we have down at about $3,600 on BitMEX, which is, by the way, much lower than it was on other exchanges, that is the low that we have to hold at this point. Anything that goes below that low is going to invalidate everything that I'm discussing here. We know that the markets are extremely volatile, especially right now. There's been more volume on Coinbase in the last couple days than we've seen in recent times. The last time volume was that high on Coinbase was when we had our high at 13,800 back in June of 2019. So again, I want to take a look at the charts. We're going to go ahead and get into it now. I want to get a count on this because I think that we've finished the correction on the move from 3,100 to 13,800. I believe that correction is done. So let's take a look at it. So I've got the most obvious part to this, which is the 1, the 2, and then 3, 4, 5 are somewhere out here. Okay, 3, 4, 5 are somewhere out there. This push down went very deep, but again, we did not violate the lows over here. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing. We did not violate those lows. So now let's just take a look and see what we've got. Okay, so obviously we have a humongous one wave here. This one wave, from what I can tell, is made up of several subwaves. So I can see a 1 here and a 2 here. And then what I see, I'm going to get into this, I see another 1, 2, because we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, A, B, C into the 2. And then we've got a 3, 4, 3, 4. And then we go into a much larger 5. So we're going to put our 3 wave here. And then what we've got this, kind of an expanded flat, which gave us the thrust that we needed to complete this move up here. Okay, and again, I don't want to get too much in the weeds on how this is all subdivided. I want to get the basically the general idea of what the counts are. I don't want to be too picky about it. Okay, so we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, inside of this, we also have, as I was already explaining, in our third wave, we have a 1, we have a 2, then we have a 3 here, and then we have an expanded flat into a 4, and then we complete the 5 right here on a lesser degree. Okay, let me go ahead and color this one just slightly different, just to give it a little bit of contrast. You might ask, why are we going through this again? Why is this important? Just getting it all out there and getting the count right after we had a nice volatile move like this, just for further clarification, just starting this from scratch is very helpful for me. And I am, in many ways, all about educating the community. That's what I've always been about. So that's the reason why I'm spending time with you guys going through this, because I want you to understand what we've got. We have an impulse here, and then we have a correction. Then we have a clear impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have a correction. So that was our 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, and then we have an expanded flat, A, B, C into the 4, and then we have our thrust, our blow off top that everybody was talking about. We had our blow off top. So everybody was talking about a blow off top up here. I'll get into that here in just a little bit. Everybody was waiting for a blow off top. That was not the time for blow off top. The reason why is because the blow off top happened right here. What we were looking for was capitulation. After you have a blow off top, the second thrust is not going to be another blow off top. It's going to be capitulation, and that's what we had. We had capitulation. That's the worst candle that I think we've seen in Bitcoin's recent history. Obviously, when the price of Bitcoin was much lower, sure, we could have had a 45% candle in a day. But the price being what it was, having in a single day Bitcoin lose $3,600 from open to close, that was a bit unprecedented, if you ask me. But that's for dollar to dollar. All right, anyway, we have our blow off top, we have our capitulation. So now, what does this correction look like? Okay, well, what a lot of people are looking at, and myself as well, I was looking at this being a nice little wedge. I think that a lot of people were taking a look at this. I don't know that I want to count this as a wedge anymore. I'll go ahead and outline it there because it does look rather good. But what I can definitely see here, from up here, we have an A, we have a B, and we have a C. Okay, and then we have another correction. From up here, we have an A, we have a B, and then we have a C. And then from up there, we have an A, we have a B, and then we come down for an extended C down here. This completes the C. I think actually I paused because I think this looks better, because then we have an A, B, C, kind of like an expanded flat into the B, and then we go down for the C. Now, what's the interesting part about this going from the B into the C is actually, really into the A we have 5 waves, and then we have our A, B, C into the B, and then we have 5 waves coming down as well. So let me just outline those. So from up here, and it's going to look a lot clearer if you are going down into a smaller time frame, but we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. I'm going to move this to a more minuscule level. It's going to be a little clearer there. And then of course from up here, we also have an 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish this off, to finish the C. Okay, now from there, this was always an anomaly. It was almost impossible to get a count on this. So I'm not going to try and work something out. I'm not going to try and squeeze something into that. But one thing I do want to focus on is the high of that because it actually is significant. The high on this move right here, we did almost violate. We didn't actually violate it, but even if we did, the count that I'm prepared to put into this doesn't, really doesn't negate a whole lot. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this from this high right here. Okay, when you're looking at a correction, we've got a correction, further correction. Okay, and then we have this impulse up, and from that high, we're expecting there to be another correction. So we have an A, we have a B, then we have this C to come all the way down to the 2. I'm leaving myself some room here because I want to not only show you all of the subwaves inside of this, but what I do want you guys to see is the fact that this is a WXYXZ from the get-go. Starting from up here, this is our W. We have our X up here, and then we've got our Y down here. We have an X up here, and then we come down for the Z. And this is on a higher degree. And I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna just label this just a little bit differently so that we can get better clarity on this. I'm gonna give this a cyan color. I'd like for it to be a little larger, but okay, all right, I'm gonna make it a little bigger just because I've got a little OCD on here. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a W, X, Y, X, Z. So this would complete this move. We went pretty deep, and I'm gonna save the vulgar language, but we went pretty freaking deep, if you ask me. Okay, we went all the way down to the 1618, which is really low. The reason why I was targeting 52 to 5500 is because that was the 1236. I was not expecting us to go further than that. Obviously, capitulation took effect and we went much, much lower. So now that we've come down here, what comes next? Okay, so we expect, now that this 2 potentially is complete, assuming we do not violate this low, because this is the low to hold moving forward. If we break that low, we've got big problems. I mean, big problems if we break this low. But I do believe we will probably come up and retest 6,300 or so, and then we're going to come back down. More than likely, we're going to come back down. Okay, so as I'm building this, as you can see, I'm wicking off these important support and resistance levels. I'm going to put another one here on the chart. That's going to be right here at this low, right here. That low was so important, we bounced off of it in, this was December of 2019, the middle of December of 2019. This is where we bounced, okay? So if you haven't already noticed, we're building a little bit of a channel here. We've got a high here, a high here. We've got a low here, a low here. Okay, we broke through it, and we created a new low down here. Which, it's hard to put any technical anything behind this because of the way that it came down. So we have to kind of treat this with a grain of salt, but it still has to be our dominant pivot low. Okay, has to be our dominant pivot low. Game over if we break this low right here. I'm going to wick this off as well. That's game over at 3121. If we break 3121, we're going to be going probably to 22 to 2500. That is the low to hold, but this low is also extremely important for us to hold as well. So now what comes next? Well, if this is the 1 and this is the 2, well, then we're going to be going in for a 3. And a wave 3 is expected to be exponentially larger than the first wave. If this is a 1 and this is a 2, we do expect wave 3 to hit the 1618. Okay, so let's go ahead and map that out. We're going to be as close as we can. We're going to start there. We're going to go all the way up here to the top, and we're going to come all the way down here to the bottom, even though I don't like it. It's a little bit different on Coinbase. Okay, a little bit different on Coinbase. The targets would actually suggest a little bit higher. So now let's take a look here. I'm going to move this up just a little bit, try and get it so that that line isn't right in the middle of it all. All right, so our 1618, and I'm on a log scale here, just by the way. Our 1618 is going to be right up here at 20,000, 21,000 in this general area. Okay, we are not going here in a week. We are not going here in a month. We're not going here in 5 months. Okay, guys, don't expect us to rocket up and out of here because this is not going to happen. Yeah, I should be using BLX, but I mean, it is what it is. Sorry, Pajit. So we're working on our first wave, okay? And against my better judgment, I'm going to move down to a 3-hour time frame here. We're working on our first wave. Again, realizing that our target's going to be sitting up here at about 20 to 22,000. Okay, 20 to 22,000 is going to be where our target is for the third wave. Okay, let me just go ahead and just mark this off. This is our target for wave 3. So basically I'm doing that just so that I can remove this fib pull. This is going to be our target for wave 3. Let me see, wave 3 target is going to be right there. Okay, so now I'm going to move that guy out of the way, and let's focus on our first wave that we are currently working on right now. I'm actually going to move to an hourly time frame. It's going to be very hard to really get this right because of the way that BitMEX was acting for several hours yesterday. But what I expect us to be in the middle of creating right here from the bottom is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're probably going to come right up here and smash against that and get rejected. When we smash up against that, and let's just go ahead and throw a little bit of this on here as well. You know, I wouldn't say that it's going to go higher than that, so I actually don't like that as a rising wedge as far as that's concerned. More than likely, it's going to be looking a little bit more like this. And then from the lower, we're looking at this to complete things. So once we violate this trend line, it's likely going to come lower. But I do expect that we are going to be completing this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably to take us right up here to 63 to 6400. Then we're going to do another A, B, C, and it's probably going to come back down here to 4200. It might not go this low though. Might not go this low, but I do expect it will, because what's going to end up happening here, if we do come down to 4200, this is going to be a perfect left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and it's going to complete right down here where we have these lows. Because again, this push down here was, I mean, I do not want to call it manipulation. I would be more inclined to call it a system malfunction. Even though the system was acting the way that it should, the whole exchange was just completely unusable at the time. But anyway, I mean, that's water under the bridge. This low right here is where I do expect us to come back to. And let's just see, I haven't done any fib pulls on this. Let's just see if this lines up with anything. If we're going to go up to that level, let me go ahead and pull my new template in here for my Elliott wave. So the 618 is going to be 44.75. So that seems reasonable. That does seem reasonable. It correlates with the close of this candle and obviously the open, the close of this candle and obviously the open of this candle. There is confluence here at 44.75. So very possible this only comes back this far, assuming it does go up to 6,400. Okay, assuming it goes up there, it's likely to pull back here to 44.75. Now, I did buy Bitcoin at 5,000. Okay, and I let everybody on the Discord know that I bought Bitcoin when we got to 5,000. and I'm planning on, I hate to use these words, but I plan on going all in at 44.75 if we come back down to that level. I'm happy with what I bought, but if we come back down here, and I do expect that we will, you should be ready ready to buy as low as possible. And your stop loss, based on what I'm talking about right here, is going to be right here at about 3,600. Okay, because what this is going to be, this is going to be the 1, and this is going to be the 2, and then we're going to be moving 3, 4, 5 up higher. Okay, and that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, by the way, is just going to be the first wave of that third, because again, this is not going to be super fast. Okay, this is going to take time, and we have to be patient as this all works itself out. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. There is a lot of panic. There's a lot of fear, and I do not want to feed into any of that. But again, this is going to take some time to work itself out. More than likely, this is not going to happen by March 14th. This is not going to happen tomorrow, more than likely. This is going to take some time. I would expect, more than likely, this is probably going to come down sometime in the next several days. This second wave is likely going to complete, probably sometime before April. I've been talking about this also for a long time, that April is going to be a decent month for crypto, and I think that that is going to remain true. I think also, just for the record, just airing out the dirty laundry here, I do believe that the people that are responsible for moving the markets are going to want to make these moves before April, because I think a lot of people are going to be expecting that to happen. Potentially this capitulation was that move. And what's very interesting is I'm looking at this, and it's very clear we have a crazy support and resistance flip here that we're trying so hard to push through at 5,600. We've been wicking above it, but it just hasn't happened yet. So again, if we do push up here, I would kind of expect there to be a reclaim of this, and I'll go ahead and move this out because it's making a little bit more sense that we do this here. And again, we'll just kind of move that from down here. We've got the 3, the 4, and then we've moving up here to the 5, potentially coming all the way out here, actually, now that I'm looking at it a little closer. Because this support and resistance flip, this is significant, so we're probably going to reclaim that as support, push ourselves up to 6,300, then more than likely we're going to fail through it. What this is going to look like, probably an A, B, C to break through, A, B, C to have this as resistance, and then we're going to have another ABC to move ourselves down. Again, this is going to be a slow-moving beast for a while. This takes us out to mid-March. Mid to late March, I expect this wave 2 to complete, potentially coming back down here to 44.75. It's going to freak people out, just like Bitcoin was doing. Everybody was afraid to buy Bitcoin when we were at 3,000, at 3,200, at 3,500. Obviously, we were not able to buy down here. Maybe you were able to get a buy on Coinbase, but it wasn't able to be, you weren't able to get any long positions unless you had resting orders down there. But placing orders, I'm not going to get into it, but placing orders really deep in the order books on BitMEX are very dangerous. I'm not going to get into the reasons why, but I would just err on the side of caution there. Placing bids low on Binance, that's fine. You could have gotten Chainlink for a penny yesterday, but not many people were able to do that. Anyway, we're looking at mid to end of March for this second wave to complete. We're still in the first wave, in my opinion, and more than likely we're going to reject 6,300, 6,400. Then we're going to come back down here to 4,400. So 6,400 to 4,400, that's a $2,000 move, okay? So be ready for that, and don't be surprised when it happens. But this 618 right here, this is going to be very, very interesting when we bounce off of this, because we're going to be looking to complete the 3, 4, 5 of the of the larger move. And again, I also expect this is going to be a 1, 2, and then we're going to have another 1, 2. So this could extend out much farther than what we're expecting. But I do believe that we're going to have a decent month at the end of March, early April, we're going to have a pullback, and then we're going to have another upthrust. And it's likely going to happen through mid-June, just like we had last year. Okay, likely we're going to have another decent June, and that's going to complete our next 1-2. So we have a 1, 2, and then we're going to have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the third, and then to the 4, and then we're likely going to be moving into all-time high. But again, I'm on an hourly chart here, so again, don't get too overly ambitious, because we are going to more than likely move much, much higher. We are way oversold. Okay, so you can call this a dead cat bounce all you want, and maybe it is. Maybe it is. This level right here is the level to break. Okay, but what I can see here is I can see capitulation. All of the volume that we had on this, I would say sellers are completely exhausted at this point. Okay, just like back in June of 2019, buyers were completely exhausted on that blow off top. Okay, ran out of steam, and it is what it is. We hit the 618. So now we're sitting back down here. We have hit all of the targets that I was expecting to hit, with the exception of hitting a potential 2,500 target. But that's my bearish count. I'm not really expecting it to go that much lower than what we've done. I really am not actually expecting us to violate this low, really, at any point in time in the next 2 to 3 years. This low is going to be very, very important for us. This was likely the last opportunity that bulls had to buy anywhere near 4,000. I do think that we are going to get another opportunity to purchase in the 4,000 range, but I do not believe that we are going to breach 4,000. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, so again, 1, 2, and then we're going to work on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the third, and then an ABC into the fourth, and then we're going to work our way way higher. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to a 4-hour time frame, and I'm going to attempt, for you guys, I'm going to attempt to map our way to all-time high. Actually, I'm going to leave this as a 6-hour chart. All right, so we know that our target for the wave 3 is going to be 20,000. Okay, so we've got a 1 working on the 2, and we know that the 5 is going to be way up here. We know that the 3 is going to be about up here, and the 4 is probably going to flag out here for a little bit. Okay, so we've got a 1, 2, and again, this is going to work its way out. It's going to take a while, and then from in here, we're going to have another, probably going to move itself up to 7,500, which is going to be in confluence with this cluster right here. Then we're going to have another move down, and then we're going to have a thrust up. This is likely going to happen, yeah, I'm on a 6-hour time frame. So again, this is going to work itself way out. This is going to move its way up to potentially 16,000, and then we're going to find our support likely at potentially 13,000 to 13,800. And what that's going to end up being, let me just pull this over here. And if I were to magnify based on that high over there, I'm expecting us to break this high here, and I'll go ahead and wick this off as well so that we can see this. Okay, let me fix that. Approximately right there. I'm going to get as close as I can. So again, this 3 is going to likely break this, and then the 4 potentially find that as support. And then we move our way up to the 5, which is going to be our wave 3 target. We're going to move this to a higher degree. And then what this right here is, this is our wave 3, again on a larger degree. Not a fan of the Elliott degrees that have circles around them. I don't know why it is. This 4 is going to come back down here. We're probably going to retest this, but at that point we will have broken the all-time high. We will do a pullback, and then we're going to be working on our wave 5. Okay, so what is this going to look like? Because if this is the 2 right here, and this is the 3 up here, and again, obviously this is going to be out much, much further, okay? If this is the 3 right here, so this is going to be, let's see, we have 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to pull this down, 3, 4, 5. Pull this here. I'm just, because I've got a nested 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3rd. Then we come down for the 4, potentially here, and then we're going to be working into this 5 here, which is going to be the 3rd of the larger degree. And then we're going to come back down for the 4. Then we make our move up to the 5. Okay, this is better. This is better. And I know this is going to be very hard to see because we're really projecting pretty far out. But if we take a fib pull on this, and we go from the bottom of this 2 to the top of this 3, we have our algo target. So we have this 4 potentially coming all the way back down here to 10,600, but then we have our 5 wave at 31,766, potentially stalling at 30,000, maybe pushing through to fake people out. But I think that's it for Bitcoin. I do believe that is going to be it, you guys. This is going to be the end of Bitcoin's glory years. You can talk about stock to flow. You can talk about whatever you would like. I do not see Bitcoin going to $100,000. I do not see Bitcoin going to $1 million. I don't see Bitcoin going to $50,000. Now, anything is possible with a little bit of system overload, but I do expect Bitcoin to stop somewhere between 30 and 40,000, and that is going to be it for Bitcoin for several years. After Bitcoin makes its way anywhere above $20,000 to $25,000, I'm going to be taking profit over and over and over. I'm not going to sit in there for the long haul. I'm going to be cashing out. And I would suggest, as I was suggesting, by the way, back here, okay? So let's just put this into perspective. I was lamenting, I was pleading with you guys, take profit, take profit, take profit. And everybody was talking about how we were just going to just keep on going. We were going to blast through this baby. We were just going to go straight to all-time highs. And we didn't. But now that we have reached a capitulation phase, we have reached capitulation. Therefore, sellers are completely exhausted at this point. Buyers have accumulated at this point. Now we need to be prepared to buy the next big pullback at this point. And I know, okay, I know you guys are probably all saying, well, you were talking about buying up here and you were talking about buying back here. So why are you right now? Well, I could be wrong. Again, this is just my opinion, right? This is just my opinion. I have been wrong. I was wrong, okay? I am fully willing to admit that I was wrong on this. I had some losses that I made on this, that I had on this. It's okay. I'm willing to admit that. But this is clear capitulation. And I would fully expect that we are going to lose a little bit of volatility. This could be a little boring for a while, you guys. But once we get up here, I do expect sellers to kick in again, and I would expect us to come back down here. Again, this 2 wave could come all the way back out here to later in March. All right, this could take a while. This first wave might take a while for this to complete. Okay, we can't expect this to happen overnight, even though we had this happen in a matter of a day. Okay, so it is what it is, and I would fully expect, I'm going to remove this here because that's a little overzealous, but I do expect that we are going to move a little bit sideways here. Potentially this isn't the 4, potentially the 4 could be, working on its way right now. This might not be the 3, this could be up here, and maybe this is the 1, okay. I'm not going to speculate too much on what the count is on this move here, but very possible we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. into the 1. It's going to take a while. This looks very compressed, but keep in mind that we are literally looking at like a $7,000 range here. Okay, so it's going to look a little funny on even on a 6-hour chart. We're looking at a huge range. We complete this, we come down for the 2. I would be getting long before April. I would be getting long before April, as low as you possibly can, preferably as close to 4,500 as possible. I know Pajita is watching, so I'm going to have flashbacks to what we had all the way back here, because we were talking back here, okay? And I'm sure he's going to put in a comment about this. We were talking back here, we're going to buy at 4,500, and it never came. It never came. So, of course, one of 3 things is going to happen. Either we're going to go down here to 4,500, and you're going to be able to get long here at 4,500, or 2, we're not going to get there, or 3, we're just going to completely fall through it. Obviously, all 3 of those are very possible options. I would say at any point below 5,000 is probably a good, safe place to open up long positions. Okay, don't try and catch the bottom. Don't be a hero. We were taking a look back here. We were looking at a little bit of basing occurring, but this thing rolled over, and we thought this was capitulation, but in fact we hadn't seen anything. Okay, but now we are calm. We are rising. Yes, when you die on your deathbed, I'm going to say you shouldn't have waited for 4,500, but it's okay. It's quite all right. But again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, going down for the 4, and we're looking for all-time high between $30,000 to $40,000. And I'm not going to expect a penny more. I'm not going to be greedy. I will cash out and I will walk away for a long time. Okay. That is, in my view, on Bitcoin. I'm going to move back to the daily time frame, and we're just going to take a look at this. We've got our wave 5 target all the way up here. Sorry, that's our wave 3 target, which is the top of our major 5th there. To complete that, we come down for the 4, and then we look for the all-time prize at the all-time high up here at 31. That's the algo target, assuming we stop here at 20,000, 21,000, which I fully expect that we will, because naturally a double top scenario, we have a high here, we come down, we have a complex correction. The correction ended here, so now we've got a 1, 2, because by the way, we're working on a 5th wave now. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the final supercycle 5th wave. So we've got this to complete, and then we're going to start a much, much deeper correction. All right, guys. Hopefully this video did help you in some way. I do appreciate you joining me this Saturday evening. It is about midnight where I'm at now. Gosh, 40 minutes we've spent talking about Bitcoin. I do want to talk a lot about the S&P 500. I want to talk about the stock market and its bubble that popped, but we're going to have to save that for another time. Again, we talk about all this stuff in the Discord. We've got lots and lots of really fantastic people that are talking all the time about really great things. I'm very humbled to have the community that I have on the Discord. Primal and I are very proud of our members. We are so level-headed, like-minded, and we're in here without emotion, and it's really, really great. With the exception of used underpants, we've got a meme lord out there, but he's still good. Sorry, it's used underwears. But really great people, and we'd love to have you in here with us. If you want to be part of our Discord, throw in a comment in the YouTube chat. We're more than happy to have you with us. And I suppose wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay quarantined. Don't cough, don't sneeze, sanitize, get toilet paper, whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe during this global crisis. Have a good one, everyone.